Azalea Park Community Analysis, Alina Gomez, St. Petersburg College. In 1952, developer Wilborn C. Phillips transformed an old, abandoned airfield and made it one of the largest communities in Central Florida. Its homes cost at that time a little over $7,000. This community was considered the crowning glory of the developers' ventures. This growing middle-income community began to shift in 1999 to a low-income, more predominant Latin Hispanic community, as people were coming in from Puerto Rico to start new lives. More traffic came with the new roadways and the development, and the growth of the community hospitals were also a great improvement, as well as housing prices. They began to rise as the years went on. The community has low subsidized housings for apartments as well as houses. This means the government helps the people with the payments of their place of where they're going to live, whether a house or an apartment. Hospitals and pharmacies are also available in our community, and we have schools and libraries and a multitude of pharmacies. As for the schools, Colonial High School was one of the first schools in the Azalea Park community. And we have Stonewall Jackson Middle School, there's Azalea Park Elementary, and Forsyth Woods was one of the newest schools that were into the community. UCF Go Knights! Everybody knows the University of Central Florida has just opened a medical school here in Central Florida. We also have Full Sail University, which is all about animations, and their school hours are all hours of the day and night. You have Rollins College, one of our most prestigious universities here. You have Valencia Community College, which is just as great as any of the others. We have Kaiser University as well. Not only was developer Wilborn C. Phillips an amazing man, but he was a very generous man. When in the process of developing Azalea Park, he donated 2 acres to 5 churches. The top 5 churches on the list are still in existence, and then we have others that came after. But thanks to the generosity of this gentleman, the church community was there. We had Catholic churches, we had Baptist churches, Methodist churches, Episcopal churches. He was there for the community. The Inglewood Community Center is the closest community center to Azalea Park. It has a multitude of activities that are offered to the children in the community, and the hours are Mondays through Fridays from 8 to 9. They have a pre and after school program. On Saturdays they're open from 9 to 9, and Sundays from 8 to 5. Not only does the Inglewood Community Center services the children of the community, but they also have activities for seniors such as Tai Chi and English. Now go to the library. The closest library to Azalea Park is brand new. It opened in 2015. It's a Chickasaw Library. It is a place to bring the children. They have multitude of activities, after school activities, they have weekend activities. It's really an amazing and fun place to bring the kids as well as the adults. Azalea Park is a predominantly Latin community, so the supermarkets are, low income, I gather, when you look at Walmart supermarkets, but they have their own supermarkets such as Bravos and Sedanos. They cater more to the Latin community with Latin type foods like cilantros and Goya products. There also is a lot of restaurants in the community, a lot of Latin restaurants called lechoneras. Lechoneras are pretty much fried foods, pork, and really non-healthy foods, as well as the fact that they have McDonald's, Wendy's, Checkers, and Sonic's. The major issues in the community of Azalea Park is drugs, unemployment, and crime. Unfortunately, the Orlando Sentinel has written that Azalea Park is known as Heroin Alley. The amount of drug overdose is immense in this community, as well as the spike in HIV. Unemployment is prominent, and there is a lot of crime. For those who are unemployed, seem to create a lot of crime. In comparison to the Union Park community, Azalea Park, its population is much higher than Union Park. Their unemployment rate is higher, and their educational rate is lower. Union Park seems to be doing a lot better than Azalea Park at this point, though it's not much of a difference in percentage. Because you're looking at high school or greater, it's 72.4%, and in Union Park it's 83%. It's not much higher, but it's obviously making a big difference in their community. The acceptability of the hospitals like Florida Hospital or Orlando Regional, they have stroke resources, they have emergency departments, they have radiology, they have x-rays, they have laboratories. Their facilities are acceptable. There is center care, there is urgent care. The Department of Health also has acceptable and available resources for the community. Affordability in health-related resources, something that you have to question. We all need to remember that in the emergency department, during an emergency, patients cannot be turned away due to EMTALA. So this is why the local emergency rooms are so full. There's also places like Shepherd's Hope that offer health care for the people in the community and their practitioners. There's Orange Blossom clinics that have multiple of locations. Depending on where the patients live, they may have the challenges of, again, getting transportations to get to these clinics. And you have primary care providers for those with insurance. Healthy People 2020. One of the objectives that I'm going to be choosing is obesity. Why, you think? Well, obesity leads to high blood pressure, which then in turn could lead to a multitude of problems with your heart, your eyes, and everything else. Heart disease. Diabetes also is a result of obesity, and cancer is known to happen in women that are obese. Unfortunately, in Azalea Park, drugs is prevalent, whether illegal or legally prescribed medications. You have heroin addicts, Xanax, oxycodone. There's also cocaine and crack addicts out there. We also need to educate our families and our friends and their children that alcohol is a drug. They cannot afford to be confused. Orlando, Azalea Park, Central Florida is third on the list of the rising epidemic of HIV in Florida. In 2015, it rose 23% from previous years. 23%. That is a high percentage. 39% of the people living with diagnosed HIV in 2013 were Black, and 23% were Hispanic and Latinos, and 36% were white. They have the National HIV Testing Day. That is on June 27th. You can go and get a free HIV test in any local, state, or federal health department. It doesn't necessarily have to be on June 27th, but that is a day that is highly encouraged. For those that are a little shy and want to be a little bit more discreet, they can actually purchase a home HIV kit from a pharmacy and do it at home. Adequacy of the environmental resources. The community has adequate garbage pickup, which is once a week. They have a very large container that is supplied to them by the city. They also have yard and recycle pickup once a week. The sewers do not currently back up, and they have sufficient clean water for bathing, drinking, watering plants. In an interview that I did with Dawn Dominguez, a community member, she complained about the garbage pickup. She says that even though the containers are larger, if you forget to bring out your garbage, then you have garbage for 2 weeks in this large container just rotting away. So she would prefer for it to be picked up twice a week as opposed to once a week. She also stated that when bulk pickup is needed, you have to call, and you call to make an appointment for the bulk pickup to be picked up, but you may need to make multiple phone calls before they actually pick it up. Tony Ortiz is the councilman in District 2, and District 2 is a part of Azalea Park. You can reach Mr. Tony Ortiz via email, mail, and telephone. You don't go to his office and expect to see him. You may get lucky, but the best way to communicate with him is via email, mail, and telephone. The City of Orlando offices and the city commissioners have their annual budget meeting, and usually they're not really well attended, but you can see them online. The budget, fortunately, is always well balanced. The website to go on to see any of the council meetings or the agendas or anything that's coming is, cityoforlando.net/council/. The economical concerns is unemployment in Azalea Park. In Central Florida, unemployment's up by 58%, and the average family income is between $33,000 to $34,000 a year. There's also concerns for the cost of health insurance. Those who are insured have high deductibles and high co-payments, so therefore they still have problems accessing health care. And then there are those who have no health insurance and are not educated on the free clinics and the availability and accessibility of these particular places. Overall, the community needs of Azalea Park is a lot of education. They need to be educated on communicable STDs. They need to be educated on resources that they have available to them, like the links transports for patients with Medicaid and Medicare to get them to and from doctor's appointments or hospitals. Education on health resources like the free clinics, the free dental care, and a lot of nutritional education. How to take a walk in the morning and take a walk in the afternoon. How to change your eating habits little by little, not abruptly, because if you change it abruptly, you're gonna change back. How to incorporate a little bit of vegetables and portion control your food. This community is struggling with obesity. They also need to be educated on the no texting while driving, no drinking and driving, and this is something that's repetitive and continuous in all communities, and it's very important in the youth to let them know the risks of drinking and driving and texting and driving. There is a really great resource for the community, which the people who are unemployed or lack in education that they can access, and they need to be educated on the career sources of Central Florida. It is there. It gives you resources, it gives you job opportunities, it lets you know about job fairs, it also educates you. It's going to help you to get to a better place, whether it's a typing class or whether it's a phlebotomy class. They have everything that's needed there to help you to advance, for the community to educate themselves and get employed. There is an estimate 2.0 million worldwide people infected with HIV virus. The rise in HIV in the global community as well as the local community is big. There's 36.9 million people worldwide living with HIV. 3.6 of these million people are children. HIV is worldwide. It is affecting everyone. It is in our communities, and the community health nurse can educate everyone in the community. They need to not forget that this is out there. They need to re-educate people on HIV. They need to talk about sex. They need to talk about vagina, anal, and the most important one is oral sex. They need to go and talk to the drug addicts in the community, talk to family members and people in the church. I mean, community nurses reach out to schools. Community nurses can reach out to churches and deal with the adults and educate the adults on the rise of HIV. There is an immense amount of older adults being exposed by HIV, as well as the youth. And this issue can be addressed in the churches and community centers, and then the children need to be educated and re-educated in the schools.